Okay, so it's official. Welcome to We Be Lifin Pod. So we made it. Listen, there were a couple of times I was just like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to do this. Even though I already put the video out, the intro, the promo video, I should say. But I'm telling you, I've been a whole lot of emotions, anxiety. Don't even want to call anxiety over me, but like, let's be for real. If you're doing something for the very first time and it's something you're not used to, like doing a podcast and speaking to, well, my camera has a green button, but on yours, it might be the red button. So that was definitely intimidating. However, I wanted to be a person of my word. So I already put out the promo. So there was no way that I wasn't going to do a follow through. But if y'all understood how many things tried to keep me from recording this video and doing this intro and getting these episodes out, y'all wouldn't even believe it. But anyway, we're here. We made it. Welcome once again to We Be Lifin Pod. This is the podcast where we're going to keep it real about life, the things that we are experiencing, that we're going through, how we feel, unfiltered conversations. Okay, we'll be having some how-to moments, some maybe cry. I laugh because I think about people who, whenever they do see me cry, they're like, I don't even know how to act because you don't even cry. So I don't know if we'll have emotional moments like that, but we might. You never know, right? Because life is lifing, and that's how I came up with the title for this podcast. So they'll just be, I didn't want to put a niche or anything with the podcast. I wanted it to be open to discuss and touch on whatever is going on in the world, in our lives, not just the world, but just in our personal lives, because it's also a way for individuals to know that you're not going through things alone. There's someone out there that might be going through what you're going through, who may have already experienced what you've experienced, and now they're out on the other side, and they may be able to tell you a little bit about it. And so I'll go into a little bit of how this podcast came about, but I have not introduced myself officially. So my name is Sabina Richards. I will be your host of We Be Lifin Podcast. But this is a We Be Lifin Podcast, which means you and me. We're doing it together. We're going to be meeting every Thursday to talk about what's going on, right? So the podcast is going to be on wherever you get your podcasts. So Apple, Google, Spotify, whatever platforms you get your podcast, that's where this podcast will be. So every Thursday, we'll be bringing episodes. I'll also post the episodes on my YouTube channel called We Be Lifin Pod, so that if there are comments, recommendations, suggestions, you want to follow, you want to subscribe, you want to turn on your notifications, etc., right? So let's talk a little bit of how this podcast came to be. Now, mind you, I don't consider myself a podcaster. I do not believe that I'm a podcaster in any way. I was a part of a podcast maybe about 2-3 years ago. And then once I was no longer a part of that podcast, everything about podcasting left my mind. But there was a point in time, I think in the past year, I was just trying to think of something else to do. I work in corporate America. I'll give you a little bit more about myself other than my name. I am 41 years old. I am a first-time mom to a beautiful, spunky little girl. And I work in corporate America in human resources, to be exact. I have been a human resources professional for over 15 years. It's been a long time. Okay. Go me. But I wanted to do something that could lean on my already established skills, right? I did not want to work another job, not another part-time job, not a night job. I didn't want that, right? Because my current job is already taxing and tiring, right? So I didn't want that, but I wanted to do something that I could lean on my skills and that I actually enjoyed, right? It wouldn't be considered a hobby, but I guess when you enjoy something so much, it doesn't become, it's not work or anything, that concept. So I also didn't want anything that's going to take me away or hinder or impact my current job, because right now that's paying the bills and taking care of little Miss Missy. And I honestly was not thinking about podcasts. And even though I was a part of a podcast for a while, I wasn't thinking about that as this next thing. However, the algorithm on YouTube and Instagram thought differently, because even before I have to say, came to terms with the fact that a podcast was something that I was going to do, there were ads all over Instagram, all over YouTube. I think one of the most frequent ads I kept seeing, I believe his name was from David Shands. I do need to make sure, because I did sitting on one of his free webinars. And it would always pop up. So you want to have a 7-figure podcast? And I'm like, no, I don't actually. I actually don't. I don't want it. So I would delete. I even, in one time, I think I even recommended, because on Instagram you used to be able to say if you're interested or not interested in a specific ad, and I specifically stated I was not interested in those. YouTube, here we go with YouTube. How to start a podcast for beginners. How to start a podcast for beginners. The first, what was the one that I saw? The 7 most essential, or the 10 most essential things that you need to have a successful podcast. I'm like, who told y'all that I wanted to do a podcast, right? So now this is all happening way before we got here. Then here goes my fiance. Every time he's ordering stuff, because he's techie, very techie, out of nowhere, oh, I bought this, I ordered this mic because, you could use it when you're doing your podcasting. I ordered this SD card. I'm like, why are you telling me about podcasting? I don't care about that. This is not what I think I want to do. But anyway, fast forward, here we are. Clearly, everybody else knew, and I was the last one to find out. Okay, so when I finally came to terms with it, I said, all right, cool. I guess podcasting is apparently what it is I need to be doing. Okay, so again, I took everything from when I used to be a part of the previous podcast. I literally opened my brain and I just took that out, because I'm like, all right, I'm not in that area anymore. I don't need to remember or know anything about that. So now I had to go back and search on YouTube, podcasts for beginners, how to start a podcast, the 7 or 10 essential things that's needed for a successful podcast. And then here we are. And still, I was still like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. But what really, did it for me, that really, was it the straw that broke the camel's back, for lack of a better term, was I said, you know what, let me use this chat GPT thing that everyone's talking about. And disclaimer, I'm always going to say it wrong. I don't know why, but saying that name or that software always gets me. So I typed it in and I said, okay, We Be Lifin Pod, because I was just like, if I'm going to do a podcast, the name, it has to be catchy. I don't want it to be niche, because I don't want it to become boring and that you have nothing to talk about, because at some point you may not have anything to talk about when you have niched yourself so tightly. And again, that may change. We don't know what the future holds. This is just an intro. This is just day one of this podcast life that I'm embarking on. So my whole view of niching might change. But for right now, I didn't want to be locked into something. So I said, okay, here goes this title. What I'm going to do with this title? Again, my life, this is the similar mindset that I had a few years ago when I wanted to, what did I want to do? I wanted to start a YouTube channel that never was and never came up the ground because I overthink. I'm an overthinker, and I will overthink myself out of doing something. I will talk myself out of it. There will be every reason why you should do it, and there's no reason why you couldn't do it because of capability, but then I will overthink myself out of it, like, whatever. Great ideas for that YouTube channel. Great, episodes, and it's sitting right in my planner. Okay, but I said, you know what? I don't want to do the same thing with this. So I said, let's see what ChatGPT has to say about We Be Lifin Pod. And because it had so much to say, that's why I was just like, okay, why not? Let's do it. I actually recorded that video, that little promo video, while I was walking to my car on my way to work, and I recorded it, I believe, on a Thursday. I didn't post it until Friday, Saturday. Like, that's how much I was overthinking about doing this. But anyway, I did it. So here we are, and I really hope that this podcast is something that becomes beneficial, that actually gives information and insight that people can actually glean from and learn from, and just really find community and know that you're not alone in whatever life is throwing at you. And that's truly the purpose and the goal of this. Not just for me to be a bobblehead, a talking head, but I really want to make sure that I'm delivering something that's helpful to someone and beneficial to their livelihood, right? Because if someone's going to take the time to listen to me and to watch me, even if it's maybe just to, we have some laughs, or we talk about nonsense, give a little funny story or an example, and that helps to take the load off your day, because sometimes we just need a laughter because the day has been so heavy, or things in life are just coming at us so much and we just need a break. Every time you turn around, there's something. So the purpose and the goal of We Be Lifin is, again, to reach out to someone so that you're not alone, and there's a safe space if you want to talk, or if you have an example, or if you just want to just find community here, and that's the purpose of it. So join us as we go through this journey every Thursday for We Be Lifin. It's real talk, real life, real laughter, real talk, real you. And that's it. That's the intro. Welcome to We Be Lifin. Stick with me. Let's see what life throws at us and how we navigate all of this stuff together. Okay?